They don't just put you on the field because, on the team in a 53-man roster because they like your hair or your name sounds good. They put you on because that you're a good player. You have things about you. And so what we're going to be looking for, obviously, this week is some of those guys to step up. Guys that's on the 53-man roster to step up. That not only Hollywood Brown and Juju Smith-Schuster, but Tyquan Thornton, Brownlee, Remigio. If Xavier Worthy get to play, then so be it. But I think these guys can absolutely carry the torch until the other guys get back. And I mean that wholeheartedly. I was seeing a lot of people nervous and, oh my gosh, we need to go get this guy, wide receiver, this and that. And I was just like, yo, I just, it didn't really sit well with me, Marcus, kind of hearing that, because it's like, that's the only two guys and that's it. Other than that, we no good. We're not going to be all right. So.
Well, that was a question we didn't get into tonight, but the Tyreek Hill stuff, I'm sure that's what you're kind of alluding to. He's throwing temper tantrums on the sideline of Miami. People suggest that he wants, it's been all summer, it's been a whole thing speculated that he wants out of Miami. They look like crap after week one. He's throwing tantrums on the sideline. People say Chiefs have injuries and suspensions. Is that something? Yeah, and also too, and I think it's not just some random guy, right? We have familiarity there, right? He's been in Kansas City. We have a knack for picking up guys who've been around in Kansas City before. We're trading for them. Obviously, there would have to be a lot of salary cap gymnastics going on there in order for that to make that work. But would that be something that you'd be – I guess the question would be, is it too early to say go do that move because you want to see what you have in the young guys you're talking about right now? Or would that be something like if he's available at the right price and if they can do something with the salary there, would that be something you kick the tires on?
I just don't see us making the flips to do it. I don't see salary cap wise how that could get something like that done. Let's be realistic, man. We don't have that much money, to be thrown around. You're talking about restructuring a lot of different contracts to even get Tyreek here. And so for me, it's early right now. It is. It's early. So I do want to see what the other guys are doing here. Because the reality is Xavier Worthy is still coming back. Rashee Rice will still be coming back. So it'll get crowded soon. It's going to get crowded. I do believe we got enough to carry the torch until those guys do return. I think Xavier Worthy, if everything's looking good, dislocated shoulder, he might be out a couple of weeks. Okay? And if it is by chance you go through this game and it doesn't look like you think it is, and you're like, hey, maybe we need to think about something differently. I don't even know if you still go get him. I'll be honest, because it's still like, well, what are we going to do with the salary cap? How are we going to get somebody who's disgruntled? Love to have Tyreek Hill back here. Sure, right. Absolutely. But is it something that's feasible? I just don't think it is. I really don't. So
yeah, it would have to be such a. Just obviously seeing what people said online. A lot of people are saying, people will say salary cap doesn't mean anything. Look what the Eagles do every year. They're able to operate around that, which is obviously not true, right? You're gonna have to pay up at some point. You kick the can down the road. At some point, it's gonna catch up to you. Some people said trading Juwan Taylor. Yeah, you have Jalen Moore who can step in right away. So you get rid of that contract, the money that he has there, and try to work out a deal with some draft pick attached to Juwan Taylor. Again, this is like Madden type franchise trade moves. It's not real. You don't see this kind of things happen in the NFL.
No,
not often anyway.
No, and like I said, if it was something that they could possibly do, then they would think about that. But I think they want to know exactly what they have in the room first before you start making those moves like that. Okay. And I'm not even going to say that's desperation, but I think like you really have to settle in with the guys that you got and let them prove that they cannot do it. Hollywood Brown caught 10 balls last week. Juju Smith-Schuster, how many catches did he make? And we didn't even really utilize our tight ends or our running backs like we should have. Kareem Hunt caught a few balls. That was it. Rashee Smith could come out there and catch some balls. Nico Remigio could catch some footballs. So these guys, our guys can get open. They can catch the daggone football. So
there was this tweet I wanted to show you just because I think I saw people arguing about this, this Chiefs Kingdom right now in shambles because we lost a game, which again, this is like rich people problems, right? We lose a game and everyone thinks we need to, blow it up. I've seen comments that blow it up. But this was interesting. It just said that could be a need for receivers based on this. I'm just curious what you think about this. This is the separation that apparently people were kind of up in arms about, the separation aspect of the win rate with Xavier Worthy. So Xavier Worthy's win rate was 6.8%. Kelce's 10.8%. Tyquan Thornton's 9.1%. Juju's 9.1%. It's on every route they ran. But people were saying, if you look at that versus what the Chargers did last week, that was a win rate on the other side, which is pretty glaring difference here between the teams and their win rates from based on each route.
Well, it depended on what type of defense you're running too. So yeah, it looked like it was a lot of cushion. It looked like a lot of guys like going through the miscommunication, guys not being in the right place. So the win rate is gonna bear that. It's gonna bear this, the percentages being this way. And so we were seeing guys running wide open. We were seeing guys just like fitting in. You're like, where's everybody at? Was it that they were just killing them? And no, there's guys in the wrong position. There's guys looking around like who's got who. And so that matters. Not to mention, if you're not getting any type of pressures, people playing out of position, it's going to look that way. So even if you go back to this, I was like saying that Keenan Allen was running wide open. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Bad knee, Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen. Both bad knees, Keenan Allen.
55-year-old Keenan Allen.
55-year-old Keenan Allen. That doesn't look like he's been 60 for 20 years.
It's true.
So I think that's the indication of it. What routes are we running also too in ours?
Yeah.
I didn't see a lot of us running press man. I didn't see a lot of that for my defense as much. So you could take stats for whatever they are. There are context to a lot of stats.
Right.
So even so, when saying something like this, what does that mean?
I will say it does make sense because there were certain times in that game where it felt like Mahomes had all day back there and he wasn't pulling the trigger and then he was running. So when I saw these stats, I was like, okay, this does a little make more sense, right? Because there was times where he was back there. I'm like, oh man, this is beautiful. He's got all day back there to throw that rock. And then all of a sudden the stat comes out because I didn't see all 22 view at this point. And then I see these numbers. I'm like, oh, okay, that's why Mahomes was had a little bit. I was holding the ball back there a little long, and then he was taking off after a little while there. But it was that was maybe play part in it.
I didn't see us running a lot of complex routes combinations. I didn't see like when I was watching how they were stacking each other against the Chargers, and guys was clearly confused. One's running out and one's running the corner. Well, who do you have? And so if somebody don't know who they got, the guy's going to be open. Both of those guys are going to be open because it's miscommunication. So does that really make sense on saying that? What routes are we actually running? What are we doing? So I think it goes into it as well. What I'll do, I had to go in and just analyze it even more. But regardless of that, the win rate, are the guys going to give you a chance? Can they give you a shot? Is there some things you can do differently? Sure, there is. Absolutely, there is. So, and it helps out too with the whole running the football. When she was sitting there saying, "Oh, you don't even have to do play action." I'm like, well, there's context here. It's easy to say that, but the Chiefs were pressured of knowing we got to stop the run. Because they have a reputation of running the football. We don't. So what makes it say, why do we have to play the Chiefs honest when we know they're going to try to throw the football? So they run a whole lot of man. That's why Pat took off. It was open lanes. He could take off. Well, why throw the ball and force something when I could just run for 10 to 15 yards?
Yeah.
Honest.
Yeah.
Right? So I think, man, people can look at different things, man, and like I said, stats can say a lot of different things, but it is only a part of like the truth, the context of certain things.
No, I agree. And then you talk about contextually, and Andy Reid talked about it, the game plan. He didn't really say much on it, but he said, yeah, Xavier Worthy going out, they did kind of, scrap the game plan a little bit. And then you talk about not running complex routes. You have Hollywood, who didn't practice at all didn't play at all during preseason or training camp. He's pretty much out the entire time. Tyquan Thornton's still new to the system. Juju, he's the only other statesman in the room, but that's it. The other two guys really were kind of getting their bearings in this game, right? So that's why it wasn't complex. You didn't have the guys who've been there to, be involved in these routes to, make it more complex than it was.
Yeah. What was that you was looking at? What?
Do you want me to send it to you?
Send it to me. Yeah, because I want to go through. Matter of fact, I'm going to go through last year what it all looked like. Even when Xavier Worthy out there, how was the win rate?
Yeah.
Is this something offensively that we're just doing or not doing? And like you said, if part of like your game plan was to feature Xavier Worthy and Hollywood Brown, now that feature kind of goes out. You got to change everything, somewhat. But here's the thing, Marcus. Like, we had a chance to win the game.
I know. At the end of the day, we still had a shot to win it. Yeah,
we had a shot in all of this, and our defense wasn't playing that great.
Yeah.
So,
another stat that I saw, this is just an interesting one because everyone says that our running backs suck. We need to go trade for one. This was interesting, and I don't know if you saw this stat. This is another good one. So Warren Sharp of Sharp Analytics, they tweeted percentage of running back runs that gained 0 yards this weekend. Look where we were. 0% of our runs gained 0 yards. Look at us. Look at that. Man, it's successful, right? I mean, I know people say, "Oh, we're not breaking 20-yard runs." Well, we're not having negative or 0 yard run plays.
Not once, right? Not at all. And so that gives you hope, but it's also saying like the guys up front got to be a little bit more, more physical to open up the lanes for guys to get, to get more yards. So people pull up all different stats from a lot of different things, and and what matters is like we were talking about the win column, getting the win. We had a chance and opportunity. If we had stopped them on that third down, we get the ball back, we probably go down and win the game. So,
yeah, the way the second half was shaping up, yes, it seemed like we were going to go down. We had the momentum.
We did. And Pat just wanted one more time. He just wanted one more opportunity to get the ball back, and it didn't happen.
Yeah.
So I just, you become victim to your own success. They understand that. And so if it doesn't look that way, we come out and do a great job. Guys understand that too. But guess what? They'll take the onus upon their own shoulders, man. They will. And they'll be fine. They're looking for this game. They know they got enough in that room. The question is, do you and everybody else that's out here is the question. Does everybody else out here think that? And like I said, it's either all in or all out.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I just thought that stat was interesting. And again, we went 0 for 7 on third downs in the first half. 0 for 7 on third down in the first half. I mean, you're not going to win. You would think if a genie told you, hey, you're going to lose week 1 and you're going to 0 for 7 on third downs in the first half of the game, I would think we got blown out. I would think, oh man, I don't want to watch this game. I'm not going to want to watch it. And then you see, oh, we almost had the ball back at the end of the game and we probably would have scored. Or our kicker doesn't miss a PAT. It's a tie ball game. And then we're going to overtime or we got the ball last and we kick a field goal to win it. I mean, I wouldn't even think those are possible outcomes, but the fact that it was still a close game in the end of going 0 for 7 on third down. This is a good third down team last year. We were one of the best third down teams last year. So, I mean, nuts that's the way we started the game. And again, the fast start that we need to kind of, eliminate those kind of lulls in the first half. I think that's the one thing I want to see us. I want to eliminate those lulls.
So I said this, okay? I was speaking on the show this past Friday, Ole Miss playing UK. And I was saying that you want teams to be under 40% to win. And we were at 35.7 on third downs. Every metric that tells you that you shouldn't win that game. And we were still in it. Even with our third downs being 35.7. That's, really. So that's atrocious. But if you're giving yourself a shot and a chance, which we did, we just got to be able to finish those things up. Like I said, things that we don't necessarily see. I mean, there's Creed dribbling the ball back, Buckner missing the extra point, and it looked like everything is like, daggone. Well,
Yeah. What wasn't bouncing our way this week?
No.
But that's okay. Week 2, it's gonna be a good one. Gonna be a good one against the Eagles. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.